Guys, what up? Let's hit this topic. Let's hit Southern Cal. All right. Tons of rumors going around Southern Cal right now that are absolutely fascinating. You got a guy in Lincoln Riley that I believe's been at Southern Cal. I think he's only been there for 2 years, and there's already rumors out there from really reputable sources and areas that Lincoln Riley has an eye on the NFL, and it actually makes a lot of sense when you think of how awful this defense is, when you think about just how in this program it's so top-heavy. There's a myriad of factors why Lincoln Riley wants to go to the NFL. His personality, I believe, Lincoln's a little bit quiet. Lincoln loves scheming up game plans. Lincoln is an offensive coordinator, okay? Lincoln is a guy who loves scheming up offense. Does he love motivating guys? I mean, have we ever seen – we haven't been privy to that. Maybe he's a tremendous motivator. But defensively, he also doesn't care that much about that side of the ball. I don't know if he loves the recruiting at all. And I don't know if his family is a Texas guy. I don't even know if his family loves living in Southern Cal. And I think that, there's a lot of problems that I would personally have also with the Southern Cal job. I think that the travel is going to be awful in the Big Ten. I also think that Lincoln's like a chess player. He sees that his defense will not be able to compete with the Big Ten teams, and that it will take like a couple of years to build up Lincoln Riley and USC. And does he really want to invest in the trenches? And he sees college football. He sees what Ohio State and Michigan are all about defensively, and he's kind of ducking it. He doesn't want the challenge of really boosting up his offensive line. He wants to play basketball on grass, and he wants to just be able to scheme, and he wants to be able, I believe, to go to the NFL. So he tried USC. He got out of Oklahoma. He got out of the fishbowl. He thought that USC would satisfy, or he thought USC would satisfy him. And he's talking with Cliff Kingsbury, and it's just not. So it's going to be interesting. I think USC is a pretty decent. I still think it's a really good job, but I think that the infrastructure at Oregon. I actually think that, Kalen DeBoer's done a great job at Washington. USC now in the Big Ten, I mean, it's so interesting, like how they're going to adjust to the physicality of the teams and playing in really cold weather and having to travel. And the schedule is just going to be so difficult. And USC wins games by outscoring people. And now their path, playing in these cold climates, is going to be exceptionally hard. And I don't believe that Lincoln Riley is long for the job there. The other thing is that people I think could realize here, and I'm kind of connecting dots, but I'm just kind of talking out loud with you guys honestly, is that the Washington Redskins, the Washington Commanders, the Washington football team, this is somewhere Caleb Williams is from Washington. And Caleb Williams, I think, is going to have a say in where he goes in this draft. Washington's offense has lately been really, really poor. I mean, Sam Howell's been sacked the most times in the National Football League. Washington just hired Magic Johnson as their owner, and they just got Josh Harris. Josh Harris is a guy who wants to bring in splash. He wants to bring in a lot of substance. He wants to sell a lot of tickets. He wants to remake the Redskins and Commanders name, and he wants to, again, get rid of the stench of Dan Snyder. I really think that Caleb Williams, being from Washington, D.C., is going to have real interest in playing in this organization. And then you could have a package deal, which would be incredible, which would be Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams going to the Redskins to kind of revive that football team. I really think that it could happen. Because Washington, again, they're going to be playing the Cowboys. They're going to get housed by the Eagles. They're not a playoff team. They're going to be a top 6 team. Riverboat Ron, I mean, he's shot. Del Rio, North Turner, whoever's their offensive coordinator, even Eric Bieniemy, I mean, This organization is just a mess. They got embarrassed by the Giants. The Giants should have won by more than a touchdown. The Giants were a lot better team, and the Giants are kind of a middling team a little bit this year. So I'm telling you guys that Caleb Williams is going to have interest in resurgence. He's going to have interest in going back home to D.C. to play football. Again, you have the Panthers, who just selected Bryce Young, are going to have two really high picks. I think Washington can easily get in that mix and can easily try to get the number 1 overall pick. And then why not pair Caleb Williams up with his college coach? You see, college receivers, and college quarterbacks like Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown and Hurts are friends, or wherever you see Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, you see how successful like that tandem could be. And now you're going to have really good offense, and now you're going to be able, with the NFL draft and with free agency, you're going to be able to hire like a really good defensive coordinator. And you look at Sean McVay and Kevin O'Connell, they're never spending any time in defensive meetings. I mean, Sean McVay a little bit. They're not really spending – the great head coaches will spend time in both meetings, but mostly you're an expertise on one side of the ball. You really think Zach Taylor's talking to Lou Amarillo about all his game plans? Like, no, it's perfect for Lincoln Riley. He doesn't have to worry about defense at all. He can just scheme. He could be offense, and he can be a really great NFL coach. I mean, to be a college coach, you need to have a different skill set than an NFL coach. I believe that the NFL coaches, where they have the advantage over some college coaches, is they're really great with scheme. They're really great with game planning. I think that even with sports science, with the draft, I think that scheme-wise, the NFL coaches are even maybe better than – I'm going to say they're better than college coaches. I just think that scheme and technique-wise, I think that there's great college coaches in that same sense. But in terms of recruiting, in terms of motivating, in terms of looking at every side of the ball, that's what you got to do as a college coach to be the best. That's what Nick Saban has done. Nick Saban's involved in offense as well. That is what Ryan Day has done with Jim Knowles in this defense and turning them into a defensive-led football team, which has been amazing. All right, so I really see Lincoln Riley leaving USC. I don't believe he has what it takes for the long haul, and if he does, I'll give him an immense amount of credit. But again, I think that there's serious problems, and does he want to reinvent himself like Ryan Day and be more of a defense, run-the-ball guy, really play with physicality? Ironically, USC is doing that, or UCLA is doing that with Anthony Lynn's son, who's a total stud. So again, that's what you're going to have to consider if you're Lincoln Riley. Do you want to be a running-the-ball team? Do you want to hire a great defensive coordinator? The game's shifting back towards defense, or do you want to try to score 50 points, have Caleb Williams, get some NFL wide receivers, just scheme and game plan, have your family move out of Southern Cal to a new city? Who knows how the family's adjusting? They're a Texas family. They're a Southern family. And they're in Hollywood. And is Lincoln Riley Hollywood, or is he more of a mellow Texas guy? I think even D.C. is a much smaller city than L.A., so again, I think that DC is going to be one of the teams that comes open, and Caleb Williams is going to be interested in playing there. I think Caleb has a decent relationship with Lincoln. That could be the most fascinating thing. We've never seen a coach and a quarterback ever go to the league together and continue that continuity. It just hasn't happened. Correct me in the comments if you think it's going to happen. Do you guys think Lincoln's bouncing? I mean, I guess it's in vogue to say that. Or do you think Lincoln's sticking it out? I think Lincoln is a really good college coach. He's been great. I think he was great for Oklahoma. I think he's been an immense success even at Southern Cal. He's a really solid to really great head coach. He was able to create offense. He was able to kind of reinvent college football. He's able to put quarterbacks in the league, and offensively, he's as good can be. Alex Grinch defensively was just okay. And if he stuck it out at USC and kind of reinvented himself, he could eventually win that national championship and go down as one of the greats. But I also think he was a good college coach, could even be a spectacular NFL coach. I just think he wants to make that move. He's at that time in his life where that can happen. And really hearing reputable sources say it, I kind of laid out why I think it's going to happen as well.